So Kenya Moore is speaking, and she's talking about the new image that she has on the Real Housewives of Atlanta and the fans' constant reaction, maybe overreaction, to the ratings for the series. Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So Kenya Moore has been making the rounds recently in a lot of different interviews, but most recently she dropped by the Jasmine brand to talk about the latest season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Not only did she talk about the ratings, she's talking about this new image that she has on the show, which she says is not really an image. She just decided, I'm in a different space in my life. I've had Brooklyn, I've been married. This is what she's talking about. And so many of you have had a big reaction to this new Kenya this season. Take a listen to what she said to the Jasmine brand.
Do you feel like you're being portrayed accurately?
I think so. I mean, this is one of the seasons where I was just like, you know what, guys, I just can't do it anymore. I have to, I'm in a different place. I'm so happy. I'm so carefree. And I'm really just protecting that space.
Okay.
And I'm just interacting with the ladies in a different way. Like I've always been the type of like no BS kind of person, but I think in this season, I'm more articulate in how I describe why things are triggers or why I behave a certain way. And I think it's just like, the girls are enjoying me in this new space that I'm in a little bit more too.
Okay. The fact that you mentioned like you articulate more what your issues are, it comes to mind this past episode, or I think it was the episode before last, when you told Marlo like, hey, this is what's bothering me. And you may have done that before, but I noticed it. Okay, you haven't. Okay.
Yeah,
I noticed it.
Also without anger, without angst, without, anything that was I didn't want to speak angrily, at someone. I wanted to just speak from my heart and be very sincere and to just hopefully make someone understand why I'm in the place that I'm in with them.
Look, I was just talking about on the Jesus and Mero video that we have to evolve as people. We have to grow. We have to mature. And I'm sure marriage and children will do that to you. And if you've seen our Real Housewives of Atlanta recaps, a lot of you have been saying that she's in a different space. Even Cynthia Bailey, who was recently on Watch What Happens Live, says that Kenya does not like to drink, but when she does, that's the Kenya that everyone knows and loves. Sidebar, let's talk a little bit about Cynthia Bailey on Watch What Happens Live. Cynthia Bailey, I know I wasn't one of the people that said Cynthia Bailey doesn't need to come back, because Cynthia Bailey in her confessionals, her natural integration into this show was always just feel good. But a lot of people felt like Cynthia Bailey's story had wrapped after her COVID wedding. Okay. And look, I think Cynthia Bailey being off the show for a season or two might do the show some good. I wouldn't be upset if Cynthia Bailey came back to the show. She still has an amazing relationship with Andy Cohen. You could tell from this interview, and she has a great relationship with the network. She's just a likable, professional person. Okay? It could lead to other conversation. But one of the things that she says on Watch What Happens Live that I thought was funny, that I wanted to point out, was that Andy reveals that Jill Zarin had Cynthia call him to advocate to bring Jill back on the show.
You call me and be like,
yes, I was getting ready to ask you.
You call and petition for Jill.
I have been.
She's a great housewife.
Yes. I know.
She's a great housewife.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Are you friends with Jill?
I'm very good
I
friends
love
with
her.
her.
I love her. She's a really
Yes.
kind person.
You don't have to sell me on Jill.
Apartment.
Yeah. Oh, you were?
Yeah. Yes.
You were what?
Staying at Jill's
Over the
apartment.
weekend, I was staying at Jill's apartment.
Really?
Yeah,
What's that like?
beautiful.
Beautiful
Oh,
view.
really? Why?
Gorgeous
You've
view.
been to Jill's
I
apartment?
mean, I've seen pictures.
I really like Jill Zarin. I know there are some people that don't like her. I won't be surprised if Jill Zarin comes back to Housewives, in the RHONY legacy, because there really is no RHONY anymore. It's going to be the RHONY reboot with a bunch of new ladies, but they are working on a legacy. You can't do legacy without Jill Zarin. I mean, you really can't do legacy without a Bethany Frankel either, but they're going to, because Bethany's not returning unless they get a big budget. And I mean big. But back to this. So Cynthia, I'm open to Cynthia coming back. So many people are now saying that they do miss Cynthia, but they definitely miss Portia and Nene. And I know, okay, play the gif. Who said that? I just like Cynthia Bailey. She's just a likable person. I have to say, though, season 1 of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, we did not expect Cynthia Bailey to be the star or the focus. And when I say that, we didn't expect it to take the turn that it took. But also, it would be interesting to see Kenya and Cynthia figure out their friendship, because their friendship is still not in the best place since Ultimate Girls Trip. And Cynthia Bailey would have come back this past season if she had taken the friend role, but she decided not to. And I don't know if that was a great decision or a good decision. I'm not sure. I'm sure for her, Cynthia has stayed booked and busy. She was there promoting a show that she's in. So Cynthia is not hurting. And a lot of people have been speculating, maybe Cynthia should return, but return to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That has been a conversation for a while now, especially after she married Mike Hill. But back to Kenya Moore. Speaking of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, we talk about the ratings of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. That's what we do. But I also say that these ratings aren't necessarily an indication only that the show is not where it needs to be when it comes to casting and what they're showing, but it is a representation of what's been going on for reality TV, what's going on when it comes to cable television in recent years. People are not watching cable like they used to. People are watching streaming apps. People are watching YouTube, especially after the pandemic. People's finances weren't there. They couldn't afford cable anymore. So that has affected Bravo tremendously, all of their shows, and of course, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But Kenya's like, it's not exactly what you guys think. We're not worried. We're not watching the ratings like you guys. And all these people, we love that you're invested, but they are acting like little producers. So this is what she says.
The show for a while. How concerned are you and other veterans of the show about ratings? Do you guys care at all, or do you guys pay attention?
We don't really pay attention in what the audience, like, we're the only audience. We have the only audience that really pays attention to our ratings instead of just watching the show, which is very bizarre. Like, they think that they're producers, which is so funny because they're so invested, and we love that our fan base is so strong and so invested. However, what they don't see is across the board ratings are going down because people are watching it digitally instead, like on their devices and downloading them. And so our numbers for our like +3s and our +7s are through the roof. So they're in the millions, whereas you guys you're not privy to those numbers. So it's interesting. Our ratings are fine. It's just the live ratings across all TV are down.
And Andy Cohen has talked about this as well. He said, there are other elements when it comes to how Bravo decides how a show is doing. I recently spoke about the Real Housewives of Dubai because some of you wanted to drag their ratings. But we have to keep in mind there are other elements. We talked about this with the Love Match Atlanta as well, that Bravo pays attention to. And it's social media engagement. It's how many people are watching on Peacock versus Bravo. Other platforms are they watching this on? So there are other elements. However, we can't deny that the live watch viewer numbers have dropped for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but have been strong for certain cities like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which is always a little shocking to me. It's because when you look at the history of the Real Housewives of Atlanta and their ratings, they have the top most rated episodes of this franchise. So those are elements, and I get what Kenya's saying. Kenya is very good at giving the politically correct answer, and a lot of what she's saying is true. But some of the things that we also have to keep in mind, yes, Atlanta's numbers are not what they used to be. However, I have to say, with this new season and a large number of new cast members, the show is steadily getting back to the numbers that we are used to seeing with the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Of course, Kenya, the Shade Assassin. Oh, they're the little producers. Yeah, there are some people that are just hating and looking at the numbers and saying, oh, this is not good. And then there are some people like myself that look at the numbers and is like, well, this is not what we're used to, but I'm seeing an increase every single week. I'm still going to pay attention to the live watch numbers, but how many people are actually watching TV live anymore? That's another element to think about. Either way, I think that the Real Housewives of Atlanta season so far is good. It's not their best. It's not their best. I think with some fine tuning and maybe an addition or two of some new housewives for next season would be really interesting. Monyetta's not giving what I thought she might have given. I mean, I've seen her on other things, so I really wasn't that excited for Monyetta. And based on what we've gotten so far, I'm not sold. And I've said this before. I don't need Monyetta to be nasty. I don't need Monyetta to be shady. But be interesting. Be funny. I don't get any of those from her so far. So far. And that could be editing. But I think if she was funny and shady and things like that, they would have included that. You love to call Candy boring, but this last episode, we had quite a few funny moments from Candy as well. And over the years, let's be real. The same from Cynthia Bailey. Cynthia Bailey had some really stellar confessional moments. I'm not talking about bringing Cynthia Bailey back. However, y'all love to, look, y'all, little producers, love to, like, oh, bring back this person, bring back that person. No. How about we bring in someone that we've never heard of before, like they did on Married to Medicine, based on the clip that I saw of Audra, the real estate attorney coming in this season? I'm like, wait a minute. There are big personalities that you just never heard of that never got the opportunity. Let's get away from that mentality of, oh, let's go bring this person back. Or look, the world doesn't end and begin with a Portia or a Nene. There are plenty. Look, when Portia first got on the show, she wasn't that interesting. She eventually really leaned into being very interesting and entertaining. Can we do that? Can we hope for that? And maybe, you know, I don't love Drew, but maybe Drew will evolve to a housewife that we love. Not this season yet. Not this season yet. The doggy bone just threw me off. I'm sorry, Drew. The doggy bone just threw me off. I can't with that. And I'm also not writing off Sonia Richards-Ross either. I'm not loving the way that she's moving, especially these last couple episodes, but I'm not ready to write her off. Guys, let's continue this conversation below. I want to know your reaction to Kenya and what she's saying about the ratings, your feeling of the season so far of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's have that conversation there. And as always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.